Hello and welcome to a video about templates. I am gonna make a template for a upcoming build that we'll see if I film it. Depends on a lot of things. One thing if you guys want to see it. But I am gonna build a new guitar at some point and I need to make a template for that guitar. It's gonna be basically a one-piece guitar, not really. I need to make a template. In this video I want to talk about templates and I want to talk about the importance of template building, but also give you some ideas that, you know, template building doesn't just have to be like a template like this, which is a guitar neck template, or a template like this, which is a body template. It can be other things as well. Sometimes when I show you guys template videos, I get the question, why bother? And one reason, which is probably the most common thing, is if you make a template, you can copy your own work and do it a lot of times, which is true. You can also make something like, for example, a body template like this one, finalize it, make it perfect, make it look awesome, make all the curves and everything super smooth, and then you don't have to do that part on the body when you've done it, which saves a lot of time. A little sanding to smooth out the wood is one thing, but having to like sit there with a rasp and finalize the shape every time is more time than you might think it is. So making templates are really good, but there are some other things that you can benefit from making templates. And I hope that you will notice, for example, now that I make this new template for this new guitar, that these templates come into benefits in more ways than just in that way. Because if you have a template, for example, if you've made a body shape, you can copy that and make more body shapes that way. You can use that as a starting point for creating other guitars and other templates for guitar building. You can also copy it. So for example, if someone wanted a copy of my Strat, which is a copy from an old Strat, it's an actual guitar that I made this out of, then I can make a template very quickly for them out of this template. And I don't have to do any of the work that went into making this template because I've already done it. So there's a lot of time and effort and energy saving in template making. So let's jump into this one template that I'm going to make now. And I hope you will notice as I'm doing this that it's a lot less work in making template once you've started making templates. So the work that I've put into making these two templates that I'm holding right now, that work I won't have to put in to this template that I'm doing now, just because I've done this work and I can keep a lot of that work out. Does that make sense? You'll see it now. And yeah, let's jump into it. Okay, so here I have a piece of plywood that I'm gonna turn into a template. This is just cut out a straight piece. This one is about 120 centimeters long. And first I'm gonna just make a straight line. So I'm gonna hold this up like so and just draw a straight line through this piece here. Something like this, I think. Let's double check that we're in the middle, or at least roughly in the middle. If we're off by a mil at this stage, it doesn't really matter because this thing, I just cut it out with a jigsaw, so it doesn't matter completely. Here we have it. It all looks good. We'll take our template. We're going to place it over here. I'm going to put it pretty close to the edge because we don't need to waste a bunch of materials, and removing about maybe a couple of mils maybe is going to be good. There we have that. It's on its place. Now I'm going to take a thicker pen. I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to trace it around. Something like that. And then I'm going to take a smaller ruler, which I thought I had. And I'm going to place something, a smaller ruler would be good, but I'm going to use this one, up to the end of this template. And I'm going to draw with a thinner pen, a line like so. And I'm going to take away the template and continue that line across the whole body. And that's because we don't want to have to spend, we don't want to have to measure the thickness of this fatter pen and divide it in half. Taking a smaller pen like this, and I know it's a mil, it's more accurate. So that's the line we want to follow. I'm going to check it real quick to see if it's square, which it is, which is good. That means that my template is square, which I already knew that it was because I'm the one who made it. And when I make things, I make sure to make them good. So now I can remove this template. We won't need it right now. Here we have the neck template. On this, I've measured out where the 16th fret is. I've drawn a line here that I know is square because I drew the line, and I know that that's the 16th fret because I've written it and I measured it out. You can do that very simply by just taking the template, matching it up with the guitar neck, make sure everything fits, and then draw a line and square it up to the center line where the 16th thread is. Just count the threads on the neck and you'll see it. And I'm gonna hold this up to these two lines, or I mean this crisscross line and the center line. I'm gonna center up the line on the guitar neck as well, so that the template center line is on the body's center line, and push it up and square it off to the center line on the body. Something like that. Double check everything always, then triple check it. And then I'm gonna take my fatter pen. I'm gonna draw these lines out. The next thing to do is I'm going to take a jigsaw and I'm gonna cut this out. And I'm gonna take my blade here, I'm gonna show you. And I'm gonna try to stay on the outside of this line, not the inside, the outside. And you'll see real soon why. And it's gonna be super easy and super effective, and we're gonna get this out of the way real quick. Well, there we have it. Looks kind of cool. Let's jump into the next part where you will see where making the template really falls into place. Okay? Alright, so here we have the guitar right now, and here we have some double-sided tape. If you want good double-sided tape, you have to look at floor laying, or whatever it's called. So wherever you are, you can get that. It's not that hard to get. You just have to know where to look, and where to look is at the section in the hardware store for floors. Where you put insulation into the floor, you usually use double-sided tape to tape it down. So yeah, a couple of pieces like this. The reason why I put them in different directions is because the tape is made so that it can be put in place but move a little bit. And if it goes in different directions, it won't be moving. When I started, I would just put down like two big pieces, just one strip like that and one strip like that. And you can do it that way, but if you put it something like this instead, where it's a little bit random looking, template will most often not move that much. We're gonna put clamp on it as well, so don't worry. There is a trick that you all probably have heard of, where you use masking tape and super glue. And I feel like every time I have to just say that, like, I suppose it's a good thing if you really can't get something better, but I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to get something better. Especially nowadays when you can like buy things on Amazon and things like that, you can definitely just buy a bunch of tape. I mean, masking tape is just good for masking. That's why it's called masking tape. It's not really strong or anything. So yeah, I like using real things that are actually made to like be good enough to hold things in place is a lot better, and I would recommend that you do it that way. You do things the way you want to do them. I'm not gonna tell you otherwise, but my suggestion is that you don't do things in a way that doesn't make any sense, which is using something that is not made to be used for what it's being used for. There we have it, and now I'm gonna put down 2 clamps. So, and I'll put, come on, loosen your grip. I'll put one down here as well. Be really careful to put the template down on the center line so that the center line is still moving straight through everything. I'm gonna double check. Yes, I think, yeah, that looks good. Yes. Now I'm gonna put on ear protection and I'm gonna start routing, and I'm gonna see if I can't remove most of this. I'm not gonna go all the way down because I don't want to cut into my bench or whatever this is, and I won't be able to cut all the way up to where the template is, but that's okay. I'm gonna stop somewhere around halfway to the edge of the pocket right here. I'll do the same on both sides. All right, wish me luck. So now I've basically mowed all around and cut away most of it. I can't get any closer without bumping into the clamp, so I'm gonna take one other clamp and I'm gonna put it over here so that I always have 2 clamps on it. And then I'm gonna move this clamp over here, something like that, and now I can remove this here. And then I just remove it. And then I can move this clamp back here again, and we take a look here. We have a little bit of routing that I want to do up here. I'm going to move this clamp back a little bit because it's a little bit in the way, and I'll move this clamp as well. We don't need to have 3 clamps on it. And then I'm going to come in here halfway to the end, of the roundabout, because if we go any closer we might slip, go around the corner, and then we'll ruin everything. So I'm not even going to attempt to go close to the edge. I'm just going to move up, make sure my bearing meets up with this, and just route away. And here you can see I have a little bit left. I said halfway, but I went a little bit further, but I stayed very far away from this edge. And now I'm going to do the same thing here, stop somewhere around here maybe, or start there maybe even, just to be sure. And there we go. Now I'm going to remove this template, and I'll be right back, and we'll do the neck. Now I'm going to route out the neck, and as you can see, this goes in here, it just smooths in here. And because we stopped before, we don't have to worry anything, and we can just go in here. So I'm gonna route away a little bit on both these sides and move the clamp a little bit and finesse it. And yeah, we'll see where we're at. So ear protection on. And let's move up to the clamp and just start routing. And then I'm gonna move this clamp. And I think I'm gonna see if I can reach in here. There we go. Now we have sides all good. So now we need to take care of the headstock a little bit. So this is gonna be a little bit fiddly because usually I would do this on the workbench and not on a stool, but it's not really a possibility for me at the moment because I have other things going on over on the workbench, and I don't have a good way of filming anything on the workbench because it's up against the wall. If you wonder why I'm not using the workbench for this, it's because how the hell would I film this for you? Okay. And there we go. Now we have everything in place. One last thing I'm going to do before we take off the template is I'm going to do something that is important. And that is I have drilled out and measured out exactly where these holes in the tuners are supposed to go. So I can just take an awl, place it in here, and it will be guided in making these holes. And as you can do then, I'm probably giving it all away by saying this now, but I don't need to re-measure that. I don't need to redo it. I don't need to do that work again. And now remove my clamps. Peel back this template, and I'm going to remove the tape, and I'm going to look at those holes and see if I can't re-poke those just so that they are even better and even closer. And then I'm going to take it to the pilot drill and drill those holes out, and they will be perfect. And the template will be good for that. And I don't even need to think about it, you know, because I've already thought about it once. I don't have to do it again. I don't have to redo a bunch of my work. And this goes into a lot more, like any kind of template. And I'll show you some other templates as a example. But first, we need to take a look at something. So for example, if you look right here, and we haven't really cut this out completely, but that's because I just need to go through it, which we'll do in a second, and just cut all around it. But right here, it looks a little wonky. It's not perfectly smooth. But that's all we have to do is just sand this area right here and here a little bit to just make that look perfect. And instead of having to do all the work again to make this template, I could just route it out super fast and quick, and all I have to do is just smooth out these two areas a little bit with a little bit of sandpaper or something. Like it's ridiculously a little amount of work that I need to do. I'm gonna put on ear protection, and I'm just gonna let the router go around everything once more to cut away this excess lip that is hanging over. So just put the router up like this and make sure it's far down enough, and then I'm just gonna do this. So, like I said, we have a little bit of a bump here and a little bit of bump here. I'm gonna take a piece of a rod and some 60 grit sandpaper and just move it across here to smooth it out and slowly work my way up there. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here, just smooth this rod right here. And it's just a couple of minutes of work instead of all the template making. Alright, so here we have the template now. The body and the neck, and it's just like it's an entire guitar. I can just sit here and pretend that I know how to play. This wasn't that much work. I know I'm a little bit warm and all of that because it's a little, you know, you need to hold the router, but it's not that bad. It's pretty good work. It went fairly easy and fairly quick. You can think about this with template making in a lot of ways. And I have templates like these, for example. It's just 90 degrees. I can line this up and square up, for example, a pickup cavity or something like that. If I notice that, hey, on this guitar, when I want to switch out for better quality pickups, they don't actually really fit because the cavity is too small, then I don't have to make a custom template for that pickup. I can sort of just remove that mill or whatever it is I need by lining everything up with this. And I've measured this and I've cut it out and made sure that it is 90 degrees, so I know it is. And you can make templates like that with every degree you could possibly want to use. Another thing with templates, for example, is that eventually you will have made more templates. You know, you pile up and you have more and more templates. You have more and more things you can pull from. So for example, here is a template. This is a Jazzmaster or a Jaguar, depending on if you care. Maybe there is a difference in their body shapes, but if there is, it's very small. Let's say that I, for example, wanted to make a Strat body, but I wanted my own Strat body thing, and I wanted this lower horn to be a Jazzmaster. Then I could have just, you know, I could have routed out the top half of one body and then the underside of another body, and I could have mishmashed them together and made a perfect body that was exactly what I wanted, just like I did here, but here was a body and a neck together because I need that for what I'm gonna do. You can just do it that way, for example, as well. So when you make a template, don't think of it as being just one template and you're putting a bunch of time and energy and wasting it making a template. Think of it as a collective, that you're building a library of templates, and all those templates can be used in a lot of different ways to make a lot of different things. And once you have a template for something, like for example a Stratocaster body, it opens up a lot of different things. And copying that template and putting it together with another template and making a new template you'll save so much time if you have to redo everything. But if you can use the template you already have to help you along the way, you can completely go crazy. For example, if you didn't see my Harley Benton kit guitar build challenge, whatever it's called, video where I made a template for that guitar, that template, sure, I drew it out on the computer and everything, but when it came to actually cut it out, instead of having to use a file and rasp and, you know, working for hours, I could just find other templates that would have those curves in them and mishmash them all together and route particular parts out. And it saved me so much time on making that template. It cut that time down by 400% or something. Like it's ridiculous. And I have a lot of templates. I don't know exactly how many I have, but I have Jazzmaster, Stratocaster, Telecaster, Mustang, and I have the Les Paul and SG, and I have templates that are my own creation for my own models as well, and I can use all of them and I can pull from them and I can mishmash and I can create something crazy. So I hope that me showing you how I made this template will inspire you and get you going on building your own library. And the fact that you're making your own templates and you're building your own library is what makes these things new and cool, and that makes them unique. And we need more of that, I think. There's too many guitars that are just cookie cutters of the same thing that everyone else does. But if you make your own templates, just the fact that you made the template yourself will just put you down the road of making something that is just a little bit different or a little bit special or a little bit unique, and you find your own voice in it. So yeah, I hope I've inspired you. I hope I've taught you something. I hope I've made you think differently about templates. If you were one of the few guys who have told me that you don't want to waste time making templates, because it's really good to make templates. There are a lot of technical work that makes template better as well. Things like straight lines and square edges and things like that that comes along with templates. But I want to give you the reason why making a lot of templates is a good thing. So I hope it makes sense to you. I hope you learned something. You can always talk to me in the comments below. Until next time, don't forget to stay awesome and cool. And go and make yourself some weird, crazy templates. Because you never know when you're going to need them or use them or what it's going to lead to. But it's going to be cool. I believe in you. I've seen all the other cool guitars you've made so far. And so, yeah, it's going to be awesome to see the new, more better, if that's a word, template guitars you will make. And until next time, I've already said stay awesome and cool, but you should still do it. But anyway, bye!